Hey guys, are you looking at the Chuan Park? I'm here to analyze with you on the breakdowns that we have received from the developers and assess whether this is a good buy or not. I'll try to give you the most unbiased point of view because I guess there are many salespeople, including myself, trying to make a sale over here. But truthfully, you want to see things in a very clear way. I try to be as factual as possible by showing you the data to back up what I'm trying to say. Let's move on. Obviously, we'll be talking about the prime location, the amenities nearby, it being a mega project. I think the first thing that you hear in terms of advertisement in the Chuan Park is that, oh, it's going to be a fresh new project because in this area for many years, there's pent up demand for this. If you want to stay in Lorong Chuan, however beautiful this area is, there is no new project. So you got to deal with older facilities and all that. So this is something that is definitely going to be a stand-up point for the Chuan Park. Let's just dive in the information. So let's talk about prime location. Obviously, I mean, you can tell that in terms of the unit breakdown, which we will go through later, we are going for size because we are going for family crowd. So families, what do we really want is actually first and foremost good layout, spacious layout. Second of all is the good schools. So obviously you have Chuan Presbyterian, St. Gabriel's, you got Yangzhen, you got all these good schools that's within 1 km of this project. Not all the blocks obviously, especially for Chuan Presbyterian is a little bit more limited. You might want to look out for that when you are searching for, which ideal unit and everything. So the one with the 1 km Chuan Presbyterian will be set to be the premium blocks, just based on the geographical advantage that it has. And we look at the developer building this will be Kingsford and MCC Land. Kingsford have done an amazing job with Normanton Park. Many people have reaped profits, but you can also say that because at that timing, it was a very good time to buy when the launch has happened. It was like during the height of the COVID period. Across the recovery stage, right, there was a very sharp increase. You have to be mindful when you're actually shopping for a property at this current stage because we are at the recovery stage where things are good, things are lively. But I really feel that in terms of this area, in terms of the family requirements in this project, really meets many boxes for people. Their track record for Kingsford is the Hill at One North, Normanton Park, which is a fairly large project. So they have actually experience of building large project. And obviously Kingsford Water Bay, they not do so well from the pre-launch to but obviously they made up for it and did well at Normanton Park. They have an upcoming large project as well at Marina Garden Lane, which we will have probably a video later on when it's ready. And obviously Hillview Peak with 512 units. I mean, total site area is 400,588 square feet of space. I mean, with a total of 916 units. That's why it's labeled as a mega project. So why people have pent up demand for this area? Because in Serangoon, right, the large project that you can think of, Affinity at Serangoon, you have garden residences. And then obviously the most favorite one in Serangoon is Forestwood. Forestwood maybe not so large as Affinity and Garden, but Forestwood you have the nearby MRT effect. Right at your doorstep, at the side gate, you can hit to the underground path to Serangoon MRT. But for Affinity and Gardens residences, right now they are waiting for 2030 for Serangoon North MRT to happen. But even then, it's still quite a walk. Probably 8 minutes from Affinity at Serangoon, depends on how fast you walk. For Lorong Chuan right now, you have minutes away, probably about 5 to 6 minutes walk from the Chuan Park to Lorong Chuan MRT. So in terms of family, right, they already know that the accessibility is very good. And then you have the schools. And then now with the layout later, we will go through them together. Besides that, the comparison right now when you buy in, right, is going to be the highest point in the market for this area. It's new launch and it's not like we are surprised because for resale projects, we know that the new one usually is a lot higher and rightfully so. It has been like that for many years. However, when you want to buy in, we have to know that, what is our surrounding supply? What are the resale projects? All right, so let's talk about the amenities of the Chuan Park. Obviously, you don't get large malls like in Forestwood where you have Next or in Bishan, Junction 8. But obviously, you have NDP Plus. NDP Plus is just a small little mall that you can actually have your basic amenities. The grocery shopping that you can get is Ace Signature. I believe that they have sufficient amount of groceries. But obviously, you want to do the heavy groceries, it'll be Junction 8 and Next, which is one MRT on opposite directions. When you buy into a project, you want to know what's the future development. That's the most important. You don't want to buy where you are depending on an en bloc in order to have a new refreshed price point where there is a newer higher price benchmark, which you can easily see to have your profits. But however, in Chuan Park right now, there's actually 3 plots of lands nearby that is zoned as residential that you'll be able to hopefully have the new projects to continue to bring up the prices in this area. But most importantly, in the Chuan Chuan Park, right, we need to know that the catchment of families, right, would typically be, you know, from the middle class all the way to upper middle class, and even tap onto the more affluent crowd for your future selling. So that's the most important, that you want to know where you're buying in, because there are certain areas where it's more heartland, right, you're not able to attract a certain crowd. Based on the price point, the indicative PSF right now is about 2,500 PSF all the way to maybe slightly over 2,600 plus PSF. So in today's discussion, we'll just go through it based on 2,550 PSF, depending on which size units that you have to choose. In terms of the unit mix, right, you have the smallest unit at 700 square feet for a 2-bedder. 2 plus study is about 732 square feet of usable size, and 3-bedroom classic at 915 square feet. The deluxe one is about 1,023 square feet. If you want an even larger 3-bedder, it would be the 3-bedder premium, which is 1,206 square feet, all the way up to 1,507 square feet. 4-bedroom classic is about 1,335 square feet. 4-bedroom premium, it starts from 1,389 square feet. 5-bedder, 1,550 square feet. And you have some shops that if some of you are interested to set up a shop over here. I mean, obviously the amenities in NDP Plus is not the most variety, so maybe we can offer more variety range from so many residences in the Chuan Park. I believe that might prove to be profitable as well. So before we move on to the next segment, in terms of the location, one last thing to share is that this is actually a hub for premier international schools. So you're a total of 3 international schools: Stanford, American, Brighton College, Australian International. So that will be very good for your rental. If you're looking to rent it out, you will be able to attract families who are sending their kids to this international school. So it broadens your buyer pool, not only for Singaporeans, PRs, there's even foreigners that will be very interested in this area. So for all of you who are concerned about a mega project, you say,
I don't want to be waiting for the lift for too long or walking around where it's so squeezy, there's so many people around.
This site plan is large enough. I mean, like what I mentioned, is 400,588 square feet of site of plot of land in this entire the Chuan Park. Is a total of 6 football fields. Definitely going to be ample greeneries, ample space that separates, you know, the different facilities. It's going to be a very nice one. As you enter the show flat, they will show you the actual project model that you can actually view it and see whether, you know, this is suitable for you. What we have covered is basically the developer information already. I would like to share with you a little bit more like personal experience, on-ground experience, because I think that's what you're here for, because you don't want to hear what has already been said out there, right? So in terms of selling a property in future, because when you buy something, you need to know who are your future buyers and what is your selling point. Because if you do not know the pitch before it actually happened, when you are actually ready to sell, then that's where you get in trouble. So basically, I'm here to share with you some of my analysis. I really feel that obviously you can buy as big as possible. Let's take a look at the layout. If you buy the smallest unit, which is the 2 bedrooms, there is 2 kinds of bedrooms. I don't think we'll be surprised by the layouts provided by the developers. So the smallest one, you got the Jack and Jill and the regular layout where it's a living room and then 2 bedrooms along the hallway. So obviously the one with the hallway, right, there's a little bit of a wasted space, but still I think most people will be able to accept it. The one with a regular layout, there is a larger pest area. In terms of your ballot number, when you're actually choosing the right unit, you need to know, is this suitable, number one, for your family needs? Ask yourself these questions, like if let's say you're a tenant or you're a buyer in future, which one would you prefer? Obviously most people will prefer the Jack and Jill. Usually it feels more spacious, there's less wasted space. So as we enter the compact size 3-bedder, what I can see is that there are some units where the moment you open the door, the left is the kitchen. There is that walkway where you can build up a shoe cabinet or something like that. When you walk in front, then you'll be invited to your dining and living area and balcony, of course. That portion is a little bit of a wasted space, but still even the hallway towards the rooms is considered a wasted space. There are even some of the layouts where it's the entrance of the doorway, and then when you turn left, you can't see the living and dining yet. It's only when you turn right again, that small little portion, that angle. I mean, some people like privacy, they will enjoy such a layout. But in terms of today's context where the price is high, the size is small, every square feet counts. So you want something with the least amount of wasted space. So I do foresee that if you compare layouts, the one without the block entrance hallway, that might be the more popular one. So obviously, if you want something which is a 3-bedder, but you also want a bigger living communal area, you can look look forward for the 1,507 square feet, which is also the 3-bedroom that will be modeled in the show flat. You can take a look at that one because it's going to be a spacious living dining, more spacious than the 900 plus square feet units. But what you get is a larger living and dining. So some people might feel that, what is the difference? I should just get the one with a more narrow living dining. But I think for most families, right, don't forget, we are looking out for the affluent crowd, the upper middle class. I mean, they have preferences, right? And you have to buy a unit that can cater to such of their preference. So they're willing to give you the profits that you're looking for. One of the biggest rejections for new properties is that the communal area is too small or the rooms are too small. So far, what we see right here, in terms of the new launch standard, obviously you cannot compare with the older projects, but for the newer ones, I feel that this is still a sizable one, especially this 1,507 square feet. It comes with a storeroom, helpers, toilet, not too big of a kitchen, but still I think it's something that attracts the right crowd. Last but not least, obviously the 4 bidders will have a junior master and a master room. For the junior master, you have to take a look at the view, depending on which stack you're going to choose, because usually the room that's opposite from the main rooms facing the living room view, right, facing the same direction as the living room view, the opposite side usually is being blocked. Preferably you want to get both unblocked. At the end of the day, you want to get the best units and all that, but actually the right way to think about it is that if you're buying purely in an investment perspective, you want to buy something that, based on your ballot number obviously and what is available for you, you want to choose the best entry price but also meets most of the requirements of your future buyer. So obviously you go and buy own stay and investment, then you think about your family needs, but at the end of the day, once you think about your family needs and what you guys can compromise, right, then you want to see what are the future buyers requirements. Yeah, so that's where we can have a quick chat and discuss more about this. Last but not least, I just want to end off with the current supply of the resale project. We have a few freehold which is right nearby Golden Hill Park condo that is built in 2004 with 390 units. That's probably your competition next time you want to sell, because people come in, it's like, hey, I want to buy freehold. But right now we look at the trend, like what I mentioned, we are attracting a certain crowd where they have a higher amount of budget. I believe that, you know, they want nice things as well, or newer things. Not like Golden Hill is not good, but basically people want new stuff, right? I think that objection is easily handled. Right now, Golden Hill is priced, you know, the maximum of 2,158 PSF. So if people want to go for space based on the same budget, then they might consider Golden Hill Park still. But you want something newer, then the Chuan Park kind of stands out now. We have a lot of freehold cluster house, so it's a different ball game altogether. So if you're a landed or home buyer, then you won't even consider the Chuan Park in the first place. So that's a different product altogether. So you can tell that, you know, if these cluster homes are situated here, then if some people want the right size, they want to buy a condo over here, then they will consider the Chuan Park as well. That's good news. Then the rest is like pretty old projects. And then you obviously got other freeholds like Medlock Residences, Golden Heights, Amaranda Gardens. Then you go all the way further away from the MRT, about 700 meters away. You got all these freehold cluster house like Linwood 8 and all this. So all the way to the end of it, you got like Daisy Lodge, the Elmira. You'll be able to get condos like that. In summary, if you have forgotten whatever, because this has been a long video, if you have forgotten all the information before, I think most importantly is that we need to know that the key things that the Chuan Park has is that its competition is smaller. You're in a location where you are able to attract the right kind of buyers, the buyers with budget, and most likely it's going to be the family crowd. The families locally and even from overseas because of the international school. Based on the pricing that will be coming out, you have to make a call really quickly whether the choice unit is the best one for you. Right now, we have a delayed preview. If let's say you have a current property you haven't sell, you're still tossing the idea of whether you should do an IPA first and all that. So best is to get your administration done and then start to consider whether this is a viable project for you to buy. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to reach out to me if you need any advice or to explore different consideration that you may have. I would like to show you more in detail. So once again, my name is Leong and I hope to see you on the next video.